All right. We now have Roman Hemby in the room with us. We will start with Pete and then go to Mike.
Yeah, hey Roman, I'm kind of curious. Coach Signetti talks about breaking opponents' will. You guys seem to have done that against Alabama and have done it all year. How do you guys approach that, and what does it take to break an opponent's will?
Really just 4 quarters of us playing our game, honestly. You see the guys that we have up front, they work really hard. They make myself and Kalon's job really easy. And we just try to out-physical some of our opponents. We really want to make it a 4-quarter fight to where we kind of impose our will. And at some point in the game, we feel like we could potentially break the defense or, make that play that helps us win.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go Mike and then Pat.
Yeah, Roman, you guys have played kind of a series of teams, Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon, with, similar talent-laden rosters, 4-star, 5-star guys. I'm curious what stood out about Oregon, maybe something that they did well over those other two.
I feel like Oregon is a great defense. All the defenses that we played have been great. I feel like it was just the environment and the atmosphere that we played in as well that kind of played a factor into it. You look at their front seven, they have really good players up there. Their linebackers are really good as well. And then you look in their secondary, you see that they have a lot of players that are very athletic, and I feel like that presented a challenge to us the last time we played too. So really going back to the drawing board and making sure that we have the proper game plan. We go out to practice and work as hard as we can, and we'll have what we want on Friday night if we can do those things.
We'll go to Pat next, and then Josh.
Hi, Roman. My question, you guys only have one fumble loss this year. What's the level of emphasis that's put on ball security every day?
We put a huge emphasis on ball security. We do ball security drills in practice. The running back coaches and players, we do a really good job of doing individual drills to where we take care of the football and we make sure that we carry good ball security throughout practices, and hopefully we can keep that going because we know that taking care of the football is really important for our offense. It's really important for our team. We want to sustain drives and really not give our defenses short fields to have to cover as well. So as much as we can take care of the football and control the clock, we'll do that.
All right, we'll go to Josh and then Tom.
Roman, you mentioned the coaches. Justice is on staff and coaching you guys. How much do you talk with him during this run, and how much does he say that he wishes he was on the team instead of coaching?
He says a lot about his journey and how it kind of shaped him to make him the person he is, and he's definitely somebody that's very influential for the running back room and in general. Just somebody that's been there. He's been on the team. He kind of sees the successes. He sees the things that maybe went wrong in the past, and he kind of helps us to shape our mindsets and how we kind of go about things. And he doesn't really say too much about wishing he was in our shoes or anything, but he's one of those guys that, you can see by how he approaches his role that he really loves this team, and he does everything that he can to help us be successful. So, when we do individual drills and things like that, he's working us extra hard because he knows what it's like to be in our shoes, and I feel like that's something that really helps our running back room to flourish.
We'll go to Tom and then Lou.
Roman, you guys on offense, both the linemen and skill guys, you got a bunch of old dudes on his team, seeing a lot of college football. I was wondering if you could kind of talk just how the communication goes, like in game, even in those 30 seconds between hand, in regards to what you guys might be seeing or what Coach Shanahan might be seeing in regards to your abilities to adjust on the fly, even in just those little short time gaps between plays.
I feel like having veterans on the field, it makes our job really easy just because we have that sense to where we've been through it before. A lot of our players have been in the situations that we're going to be in or have been in the past, and I feel like that kind of helps us to stay grounded. You look at us in the huddle, you have guys like Pat Coogan, who's been around and he knows what he's talking about. You got other leaders like Fernando and players like that, and we kind of have that mentality where we won't flinch. We go in the huddle, regardless of the situation, regardless of where we are in the game, we know that all it takes is for 11 guys to do their job. And we're here for a reason because we have 11 guys that can do their job, and we trust each other. We have that love for one another, and when we get out there on the field, we know that we're going to put it on display. So, being older, I think it does help us to know that we've been through it. We're battle-tested, and, we play for one another, and I feel like that really helps us to experience that grit feeling, and that helps us to win those games.
All right, next we'll go to Lou Friedman and then Jim Coyle.
Hi, Roman. Do you, at the beginning of the season, it felt like maybe teams and opponents thought of you guys more as more of a passing team. And as the season went on, the run got more and more established and played a bigger and bigger role in determining how games turned out. Do you feel that A, you got better as a group, and B, do you think you changed some minds along the way?
I definitely feel like we got better as a group, and that makes sense. That's kind of how it works. We have to gel together, and it takes us a little while to kind of click on all cylinders in the facet of the run game. So, it definitely was one of those things where we had to kind of keep working towards it to get to where we want to be. And obviously, we're still not where we want to be. We always can improve, and there's a lot of things that we can work on. But as the season went and started, we kind of had to find out what our team was about. So, we were testing a lot of different things, but we know that once you get into those big, meaningful games, a lot of those games are won at the line of scrimmage. So the offensive line and defensive line, they have to go out there and really work extra hard, and they make our job easy. I say that all the time because you look at the offensive line that we run behind, they open up those holes and they start to lean on those guys in the third and fourth quarter and make it easy. But ultimately, as an offense, we just want to play complementary football. We want to win those games. So if we got to throw the ball a lot, we'll do that. If we have to run the ball a lot, we'll do that. We just want to win. And, I feel like to your second part of that question, I don't know if we change people's minds. We're not really in the business of trying to do that. We want to prove ourselves right. I feel like that's kind of our mantra and what we go to practice for every day. And hopefully we did. But, at the end of the day, if we're winning games, we'll take it however we can.
All right, we'll go Jim
you.
Coyle and then Mike Schumann.
Roman, besides yourself and Kalen Black, you guys are maybe the best 1-2 tandem in the country, but you're so much fun to watch because of how you guys run. And you've done this all year long, but doing what you did against a team like Alabama from the SEC, the way you guys did it, did that give you even more of a boost? And is there a friendly rivalry between yourself and Kalen, just trying to keep going because both of you run like Sherman tanks out there?
Well, we appreciate that, but honestly, we have that brotherhood to where we kind of don't care who has the success. And I say, to myself, kind of like we want to feed the hot hand. That's kind of how we operate. I feel like both of us have been through a lot in our careers. We're both veteran guys, so anytime we take the field, we have the trust in one another that they'll get the job done. And you can kind of see how our last game went. Kalen Black, he set the tone for our offense in the second half. And, I was able to kind of ride that wave and kind of follow up on what he was able to do. But anytime you have a good, running back tandem to where, both guys can stay fresh and both guys can go out there healthy and we can play for one another. And that kind of gives us the ability to run hard and to not hold anything back. We're in the stretch to where we want to go win a national championship. So we're not really leaving anything on the table. And, him and myself, we go out there every day with the mindset that we're going to prove ourselves right and go out there and play winning football. And, to your point of us maybe having a little challenge with one another, we don't have one now. We might make one. I might start a little bet with him or something, and maybe it'll make us even better in the postseason. But we're not really too much worried about that right now. We want to just play our role to help our team win.
We'll go to Mike and then to Sammy.
Yeah, Roman, I know you've said your departure at Maryland was emotional. I'm just curious, what would you, if you could go back and talk to yourself at that time, just the life lessons you've learned from now to then, to get yourself where you are right now?
I would say just to trust the process, honestly. When one door closes, another door opens. And, it was hard for me in that moment to understand what was going on. But, my unwavering faith and just believing in God, it helped me to see the signs on the wall and see the things that was there for me to have success and, to be open to it. So if I could go back, I would just tell myself not to cry about it, not to be upset about it, but to understand that all things work for the greater good because God has his hand on everything. So, when I was going through that process, a lot of things seemed shaky. A lot of things seemed, not straight and narrow, but I was able to kind of make the best of my situation, and I was able to make it here. And honestly, this was definitely the best decision that I made in my life. So sometimes when you hit that door and it doesn't open, another one is opening for you, and I feel like that's something that I would tell myself.
We'll go to Sammy Jacobs and then wrap with Zach Browning.
Roman, you guys run the ball in situations where it doesn't seem like you should run the ball. The 1st and 20 after the holding call against Alabama, you get 22 yards. What makes you guys comfortable doing that, and what makes you guys successful in doing it? Because you've been very successful in those situations as well.
I really think that kind of shines light on Coach Shanahan. He's one of the greatest in the business. He does a great job putting us into situations to be successful. And I feel like that's just a testament to if we go out there and 11 guys do their job, every play will be successful. And I feel like that's kind of, really showing that, 1st and 20 to be able to run the ball and have success like that. That kind of shows that if we were able to go out there and execute every play that coach calls, we'll have success and we'll be where we want to be. So, just having a lot of guys that go out there and take pride in doing their one-on-one job and winning their one-on-one battle, I feel like that helps us as an offense and it helps us to keep moving forward and moving the chains because that helps us to get points.
All right, we'll wrap up with Zach.
Roman, teams have elected to blitz you guys a lot and bring a lot of guys. When you as a running back have to stay in to protect Fernando, what's that look like? What's that process look like? And then how in practice do you work on protecting the quarterback and pass blocking?
Pass protection is definitely something that's very important to the running back position as a whole. We had a lot of times during fall camp, spring ball, where we were working it, fine-tuning it against our defense. You guys get to see Aiden Fisher, Isaiah Jones, and guys like that get the blitz and get home in games for our defense. We were able to go up against them and kind of fine-tune our craft, work on things that we needed to. And, our priority is taking care of the football and keeping Fernando upright in the pocket. So we go into games doing that. We'll have success and we'll be where we want to be. And that's something that we work every day in practice. We have blitz pickups and, periods to where we got to fine-tune our craft. And Coach Justice does a great job making sure that our scout team and all those other guys, they give us realistic looks that we'll see on game day. And, as a running back, that's something that helps your career, and I have aspirations to play at the next level. That's one of those things that keeps you on those active rosters or keeps you on the field at the next level. So I do everything that I can to make sure that Fernando is able to get the ball off, and I, try to do everything that I can to make sure that our offense is clicking in the passing game when they do blitz. So we go to work every day to make sure that we can kind of, take care of those things when it happens on game day. And we're not perfect, but we're going to keep working it because we know that 15, if he's on his feet, he's going to make a play.
Great. Thanks, Roman.